I would be lying if I said that I knew what Secret of the Mimic was about, or if I completely understand everything at this point, just because we're given a lot of information in its relatively short gameplay. I also haven't gotten the opportunity to play the game yet, but I really hope I can, because it just looks like a lot of fun. But despite this, I, along with many other FNAF fans, have been noticing a specific theory that's been circulating that I really wanted to talk about. And what is this theory, you may ask, and I'll answer that for you. It's the theory that David Murray is the same person as the crying child from FNAF 4, who is William's son. Now, I am not sure about a lot of things that we're presented with in Secret of the Mimic, but one thing that I can say without a doubt, 1,000,000,000%, is that David Murray is not the same person as Dave Afton, or the crying child. And on top of that, Dave Afton is not a robot. Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome to Cherry Soda Broadcast. I'm your host, Soda, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about the FNAF lore, so grab your flashlights and some extra batteries. I know you'll need them. We're jumping headfirst into the flip side. Now, before we get too deep into the pit, please give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more of me. If you loved or hated my video or my theory, let me know in the comments, and we can have some friendly discussion, or just come by and say hi. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw this theory for the first time was that the math really did not work out in favor of it. We know that David probably died sometime in the mid to late 1970s at 5 years old on his birthday after being hit by a car. This is more than likely William's fault, because these things just kind of seem to happen around him. We're never given a clear year on when exactly this happens, but I'm going to use the year 1975 since it makes the most sense to me because of Edwin and Fiona's wedding picture, which is in black and white. Black and white photography was more common in the 1960s than the 1970s, because during that time, color photography was more accessible to the general public and used more often, but people still used black and white photos. The way that Fiona is dressed in this picture also looks to be more 60s than 70s to me, but this could just be a fashion choice. A few years later, they had David in 1970. Let's talk about Dave now. Dave, the crying child, died in 1983 at around 7 to 8 years old. And even though there's no exact concrete proof in the games, I just like this age because it fits in with the story of FNAF 4 and how he interacts with everyone else. He's old enough to be mocked by his older brother and called a baby, but he's also young enough to still be friends with his stuffed animals and hide under tables at the restaurant. Because the grass is green and most of the characters are wearing shorts in the minigame, I would say that his birthday was probably in the summertime around 1975 to 1976. If David was born in 1970, he would be 5 or 6 years older than Dave. This is very problematic because if they were the same person, then that would mean that David would be around 13 years old in 1983. Dave, in the FNAF 4 minigames, is obviously not a 13-year-old. He carries around a stuffed animal and is deathly afraid of the animatronics. He's also teased by his older brother, who is probably around 13 to 14 years old. If they were the same age, there would be no reason for Dave to be comically smaller than everyone else, and the young children in his neighborhood would probably not bully him if he was that much older. Another similarity between Dave and David is the fact that they both carry plushes around. This is honestly just very typical behavior for kids their age, and I doubt it was used to draw any similarity between the two of them. David Murray also has a very distinctive appearance with heterochromia. If he was somehow Dave Afton, then Dave Afton would also have heterochromia. Another piece of proof I've seen people use is that Dave's room is similar to David's. I don't really see this. I don't think that the rooms look similar at all, except for the fact that they have the same closet, but I feel like that's pretty common in older homes anyway. And if the FNAF 4 room is recreated from David's room, it really doesn't make any sense, because there's no reason why William would know what that room looks like. Now, that's not saying I don't think the characters are connected in some way. I definitely think that they're parallels of each other, because they just share so much in common. Both of them reflect the carelessness of their respective fathers. Edwin doesn't pay attention to his son or even attend his birthday party. He even invents a robot to watch him instead. And David ends up paying the ultimate price because his father just couldn't be bothered to watch him. William is also notably absent from his own son's birthday party, and even possibly encouraged the bullying he faced while he was alive. If he told Michael about the dangers of the spring locks, or if he kept an eye on Dave instead of just speaking to him through the Fredbear plush and turning him against his brother, then he probably would have survived. The last similarity I want to talk about is the plastic phone, which can be found in the Murray house, but also in the FNAF 4 bedroom. I don't believe that the FNAF 4 bedroom that you spend the nights in is Dave's actual bedroom, but I really like the idea that Edwin maybe made those purple phones, just because they kind of fit his art style, and it's kind of funny, that's all. Another thing, William kidnapping and faking Edwin's son's death is absolutely insane. First of all, we know that Henry is probably in his life at this point, and Henry is known for being extremely anti-kidnapping. Michael would also probably not appreciate this even if he was a young child, and William probably still has a wife at this point, so she wouldn't appreciate this either. Now, that's not saying that William does not have a history of taking things that do not belong to him, because he does, and it's very lengthy. He's taken a lot from Edwin, the mimic technology, his employees, his assets, his land, pretty much everything. He also kills and harvests remnant, which is 100% stealing. I don't think at this point there would be any reason for him to kidnap David unless he just wanted to hurt Edwin, but he already stole his entire company basically, so he's probably good unless he's really just that big and greedy. Soda, you ask? You mentioned robot kids earlier, why aren't you talking about them? What if Dave Afton is just the mimic using illusion discs pretending to be a kid like he did with David? I say that that's absolutely ridiculous, and it's disproven by the ending of FNAF 4. Dave dies in a hospital. Yes, robot children have been introduced multiple times in FNAF, and we know that they're very, very technologically advanced and lifelike, can even bleed and cry. But it's ridiculous to imagine a robot child so realistic that it can perfectly simulate what would happen if its head was being crushed by Fredbear's jaws. Most people go their entire lives without anyone seeing their brain, so there would be no reason for it to be so realistic. It would make more sense that if you, for example, cut open Charlie Emily's head in the Silver Eyes, I'm betting it would look more like a memory card or some internal component of a computer, or maybe just some wiry mess like Ennard. Or even better, if Dave is a robot child, why is it such a big deal that he gets bitten? Can't William just order him a new frontal lobe? William saying the words, "I will put you back together," does not allude to Dave being a robot at all. What it could allude to, however, is that maybe William sees other people as objects that he can use, like robots. In his voice lines and in the movie, you can see that he's a very disconnected person from everyone else. But I do think that using the mimic in some way probably crossed his mind. Because of the blueprints and sister location, I am a heavy believer that William went after Edwin's company, mostly because of the mimic technology. Maybe he knew about the mimic and how it was able to act like David and Fiona. It definitely interested him, and he wanted to pursue it, but unfortunately, it was too difficult to put the pieces together, so that's why he started the Remnant experiments instead, in an effort to recreate this technology in his own way, so he can put his family back together, and so he can cheat death, of course. And with that, that's my video and my take on the new theories about David and Dave that are coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. I recently reached 25 subscribers, and although that's a pretty small number, I'm pretty excited, and I am so happy for all the support. Thank you so much. As always, have a great day. Tell me what you think of the video in the comments, and what you want to see from me next if you want to, or just say hi. I love reading what you guys have to say a lot. Next week, I'm thinking about doing a more lighthearted video, and I'm still working on the Afton video, so definitely check that out when that comes out. It should be a little bit longer, which I'm a little bit excited for. And with that, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much again for watching, and see you next week.